Hello, I'm Lewis Hobba, this is Replay, and today I'm going to be listening to HAIM's Women in Music Part 3. It's actually not a genre of music that I listen to very much. Like, I listen to a lot more hip-hop, I listen to a lot more dance music. I think this album came out at a lockdown moment where what I really needed was like to sit down and like lean in. I was alone, I wanted to reflect on relationships, failed ones, successful ones, heartbreak, depression, and this album just tick, tick, tick on those boxes. Let's get into it, shall we? The start and the end of the album are both Los Angeles themed, and if I have to be honest, the last one is better. I almost always skip this, if I'm totally honest. I love the album, this is not my favorite part. It gets much better. It's great, it's a really great album. This is almost the furthest I've got through this song in the last few months. The rest of the album's so good. Let's get through to the next one. Oof, the steps. It's so good. The guitars are so warm on this album. It's like a little blanket, these guitars. It reminds me of a genre that I heard as a kid but never actively listened to. And you'd be like at a shopping center and the shopping center would be playing Sheryl Crow. And I didn't know who Sheryl Crow was. And I probably still can't really name that many Sheryl Crow songs. But if I hear them, I'm like, that's Sheryl Crow. Obviously HAIM have, done a lot of great albums before. They've been into Triple J a lot. We've met them. They're so funny. This album was the first one that I didn't just like musically, but connected to emotionally. Like, the lyrics are direct. They're really like, this is what is happening to me. Every day I wake up, I make money for myself. There's no metaphor. It's just, this is what's happening in my life. And maybe I'm just an idiot and I like the simplicity. And there's so many good breakdowns. And good hand claps. They've got the best hand claps in the game. Baby, you go left, I go right. Hey, that's just life sometimes. That, I think, is where I'm like, I'm in a shopping center listening to Sheryl Crow. And if you go left and I go right, hey, maybe that's just life sometimes. True. They really know how to pull everything out, make you lean in, and then bring you back in. It's so LA for them just to be like, oh, we got our family friend to shoot our music video. And you're like, oh yeah, that sounds like a thing that you would do. And you're like, who's your family friend? Oh, it's Paul Thomas Anderson. Yeah, great, sure. It's not like the guy who works the video production house around the corner. It's one of the most famous directors living. I Know Alone is this one. What is this? Oh yeah, okay. This is really different for them production-wise. A little garage beat almost. Their last few albums were Stevie Nicks production, it's in your face, wall of sound, and it was great. And this one, it was threw everything in. It was like a vegetable soup or something, and then they took a few vegetables out, and the things that they were left with weren't necessarily the things that you'd put in unless you'd done all that. There's a song that has a record scratch sound. A record scratch sound. In the year of our Lord 2020. Is this cheesy? Who cares? This is fun. Even though there's so much talk of sadness and depression and doom scrolling and breakups and pointlessness of casual sex, they're also just putting in sprinkles of fun. That's so weird. It's weird for HAIM, right? It's confidence in its simplicity. What is this, cello? And we're back. It's really good. I should just stop saying it's really good. Up From a Dream. How are we gonna start it? Let's start it with a big yawn sound. It could be quite a corny choice, but it just ends up coming off as breezy. They're like, yeah, we know what we're doing. This has got the real HAIM, I'm walking in a suit on my way to work, taking names. Walking to the kitchen, pulling dishes from the sink. It's very just daily life. It brings you into their world. Sometimes just the day-to-day is hard. It's still a bop. It's a depression bop. And obviously they wrote this pre-COVID, that the at-homeness, the depression, the small things, the repetition, but then fun guitar solo. It's like nothing's going wrong. There's some seagull sounds. I'm at the beach. Everything's better. Ah, that's a beautiful song. Like, I could listen to that every day and never get sick of it. Oh, Gasoline. The piano on this is so good. This song is like a hug now for me. She gets sad. It's like not smooth FM easy listening. It is easy, but it's also warm, and it's as easy or hard as you choose to make it. Like, you can just put it on and you're like, oh, this is beautiful warm sounds, it's easy. Or you can like lean in a little bit to the lyrics and then you're like, oh, okay, this isn't as easy as I first thought. I think that's genius pop writing. Oh, this is the bit, isn't it? Yeah.
When you're lying between my legs, it doesn't matter.
When you're lying between my legs, doesn't matter. I want to go slow, I want to go faster. You're just like reaching into people's souls with their lyrics. It's cinematic, suddenly you can see it. Beautiful. Yeah, here we go. The old 3 a.m., the drunk dial anthem. Starting it off with a phone ring, a skit. What is this? Late 90s to early 2000s hip hop?
If you're up or whatever, just hit me up, boy.
Relatable, fun, still a bit sad, determined, I'm picking up for the last time. Yes, we've all made that promise. There's a romance to the production of this album. So many lovely people involved in it, obviously, like Ariel Reichstad, the producer, and also like partner. And then you're hearing like Rostam from Vampire Weekend is just popping over. Part of you just wishes that you could just be having a coffee in that house, you know, while they're doing it. You're like, hello Danielle. It feels like a fun crew to hang out with. You know, they kind of kept a bit of their like 70s sound, but weren't like a slave to it on this album. They're just like, you know what? We want to chop stuff up and put in a trap beat and mess with our vocals. Let's just do that. Don't wanna. This is, you know, probably more in your classic HAIM territory. Listen to this shaker.
In the parking lot, always thought I'd see it coming.
Yeah, if I had two brothers who I could harmonize like this, I would do it all the time. I'd be unstoppable. I'd be at a party, and I'd be like, boys, now, let's do it. It would be my party trick. I'd never shut up. People would be like, we've had enough of the harmonies. Hobba boys.
Ooh, yeah.
This one, another try.
One thing or two things, never really.
Oh no, this is, yeah, the weird little reggae beat one. Not my absolute favorite.
So are we gonna give it another try?
It's a sleepier one, it's a dozier one. Oh, here we go. It's still pretty good, isn't it? The only reason you don't get excited about it is because the rest of it is so good. Look, I'm sure people love this, but they don't need my approval. That's fine. Oh yeah, Leaning on You. Oh, this is lovely. One little pluck on the guitar, 3 voices. It's all you need when you're that good. Ooh. What is that little high guitar? What do we reckon? Mandolin? That'd be the dream. Like, that little plucky guitar feels like someone from Vampire Weekend was in the room. Could be a Joni Mitchell song. Could have been around long before any of us were born. It's iconic. But then, you know, put a few little modern flourishes. Yeah, I cannot sing, and I reckon I still sing along to this album at home. Maybe because they're so good at harmonies, I feel like I can just slot my slightly shit one in and they won't notice. They'll be like, look, Lewis, he's not the strongest, but he's part of the mix, and we'll work with him on the album. Leaning on You, beautiful. Ooh, I've Been Down. Oh yeah, this is again like, Sheryl Crow I'm thinking of? This is 100% Sheryl Crow. No one else right now is like, you know who our inspiration is? Sheryl Crow. It's the wildest choice, but as soon as you hear it, you're like, fuck yeah. Maybe I love Sheryl Crow. Is that what this is about? Oh,
This ain't no disco.
yeah, it sounds like disco, Sheryl.
It ain't no country club either.
That is like, I'd forgotten how disco the start of that is. Yeah, the sort of slidey country pop guitars.
Billy a Mac or Buddy.
It's the talk sing breakdowns. This is the like walking through a shopping center as a child and hearing this and not knowing who it was, and then now hearing this HAIM album. I guess I'm just having a lot of like delayed Sheryl Crow memories. If this was on Women in Music Part 3, you'd be like, it's like kind of 90s, but it's cool.
All I wanna do is have some fun.
I hope they're friends. The Sheryl Crow album was called Tuesday Night Music Club. That is a bad album title, Sheryl. We could keep listening to Sheryl Crow. We could just go back to the Sheryl Crow inspired album, Women in Music Part 3, about men interviewing women in music and the terrible questions they ask. As a man who asks women questions about music, the idea of asking sisters if they make the same faces in bed, just staggering.
What's going on behind those dark glasses? Is this what you
Joni Mitchell again, this one. A little less Sheryl. God, beautiful voice. This is so good. Even musically, like, I don't think they would have put a song that sounded that far away from a pop song on their earlier albums. And I think that's just what makes the tapestry of this one so good. Ooh. 80s drums. Phil Collins.
not something that you can buy?
The guitar solo that works completely against this song the whole way is really good. Like, it feels like it's a guitar solo from a different song, but it's the screams, it's guttural, visceral. The vulnerability on these songs is really, makes you like sweat. It's so honest. FUBT, Fucked Up But True, this is maybe my favorite song on the album. By the time you get to this song, you are already emotionally fragile. This is going to turn you into a puddle. This is bottoming out, so prepare yourself. Just such a good riff. Yeah, it's got like a country heartbreak to it. I'm in love with this person, they don't really like me, I know that, but I'm just gonna keep loving you anyway. And it's something that's like, makes me think of, it's like a Dolly Parton theme or something.
It's fucked up, but it's true.
And to just give this song nothing but just that and the guitars until here, where there's like weird synth drum. I feel like this is like space to cry. And it is sad, it's a sad guitar solo. Guitar solos, historically, a time to just have some fun, not now. And that's the end of the standard album. So it leaves you on a low. If you need to like make sure that your mental health is okay at the end of this album, I would recommend finishing on one of the more upbeat tracks. Thankfully, bonus tracks, you can zoom back out of your emotional crisis. This is actually the first time I'm hearing Gasoline featuring Taylor Swift. I didn't know that this existed.
You took me back, but you shouldn't have.
Did she get like a verse? Is that what's happening? Drop the hot fire, Taylor. Drop a verse. Oh, there we go. There's some Taylor. Otherwise, very similar. Let's check out 3 AM feat. The bass lord, Thundercat. I met Thundercat once, and he was, without doubt, the coolest person I've ever met. He was also, this was like a couple of years back, and he was way ahead of schedule on the socks and sandals trend, and he was so comfortable. Like, he walked in and he was like, this man is the most comfortable man in the world right now. He was just doing his whole tour in tracky dacks and carrying his giant bass. He was a delight. What's he added to this? That record scratch, honestly, what's it doing here? I can't think of the last time I heard a genuine record scratch in a pop song. Ooh, sounds like they recorded it from a distance in a giant hall. This is worse. This is a worse version. Maybe this is just one of those times where the first version you hear is the one you love, and if I'd heard this one first, but like, to me, what I'm hearing is all the things that aren't what I'm used to, and therefore I'm confronted by change and I don't like it. Now I'm in it. Why wasn't this on the album? This was their biggest hit. Was it just a single? Imagine that. You're like, we've written a huge hit for the album. It's very popular. We love it. We're not putting it on the album. Stevie Nicks guitars. Could be on any HAIM album. But also very Darren Hayes. Cherry Cola. Hit. Absolute hit. Hallelujah. I feel like I'm in a film, and you walk into a saloon bar, there's hardly anyone there. In the corner, there's a stage. It's dimly lit. Some fairy lights, a couple of old fellas with beards and hats, maybe MAGA hats, swigging a Bud Light, and off in the corner, just like one woman with a guitar, just blowing people's minds. In this instance, I guess I'm someone who's like, she should be really famous. I don't know, this is so good. Yeah, I could listen to this every day. It would make me sad, but I could do it. The harmony on this, and they all come together. How good of it is it to be able to sing? What a skill. You could cry to that song, absolutely. Summer Girl. Yeah, this was the first song I remember hearing when we knew they were going to be working on new music. And it was like, oh, okay, this is sort of like Lou Reed, that sort of, the weird like, it's coming. It's nice. You listen like Hallelujah and beautiful harmonies, and this one they're just like, kind of talk singing it, you know? It's confident. A couple of little do-to-dos. Very Lou Reed, very enjoyable. This is it. Play us out, sax man. That's the end. HAIM's Women in Music Part 3, Extended Edition. One of my favorites. I mean, Fucked Up But True is just a beautiful song. I love it. If I'm at my all-time low from FUBT, Up From a Dream can really get you back into a good place. Another Try is good. I mean, I actually love Hallelujah as well, one of the bonus tracks. The steps as well. God, I don't know. Listen to the whole thing. And if you haven't listened to it before, or you've heard it and you're like, I think I get it, I would say give it another go. It's genuinely genius. I imagine I'll be listening to this album for the rest of my life. But then it's only been out for a year. It feels like it's been out for 30, so maybe my brain's just broken.